tournament like this? Would it mean more to beat this field this year with the depth of it?
I'll be honest with you, it's meant more to beat this field with the depth of it winning the regular season. Because that to me is a true test, even though 3 games is important in 3 days, but it's not near as important as what you do over the course of 2+ months. But to answer your question, yes, it would, because it meant more during the regular season and probably more in the postseason because the field is so stacked.
Your thoughts on the enhancements, the announcement of upgrades to historic Allen Fieldhouse?
Yeah, it's going to be big time. The thing about Allen, and we only see it when it's full on game night, and then it's perfect. But there's we don't see what the fans go through or deal with, and the amenities, concessions, and all these things. And this will make the coolness inside the arena, which we are doing things to improve that too, be equaled on the outside of the arena. So I'm excited about it. I think it puts us in a position that for the next 10, 15, 20 years that we're not going to have to do much to a building that's already thought of to be about as fun a place to watch a game as it is.
How much input did you have on the plans or any of that?
I don't know if less than zero has, if there's a definition of what that actually is, but I didn't have any.
Okay.
They asked me what I thought about certain things, but the things that they're doing were things they were going to do anyway. I don't understand the mechanical stuff. I don't understand how concessions works and points of entry and all those things. But I do know this: we're all going to benefit from it.
Coach, what do you
Except
think?
media, I heard was like just outside the walls. That's what I heard they put media.
What do you tell you about this tournament, about getting ready for the big tournament?
We've talked a lot about it. We talked about we're going to Kansas City to win this thing. To try to put ourselves in a position to win this game, but knowing we better take one game at a time, because it can easily not happen. But I haven't put emphasis to win it. I put emphasis, let's go play our best. And what the tournament does, it can validate what your regular season has been. And this is an opportunity to validate it. But in our situation, and I'm not an expert on this, the tournament's important because does it help you in some way, shape, or form for next week? If it doesn't help you for next week, then it's probably not quite as important. And I do think there's an opportunity for us to enhance our position by playing well.
From what you know historically, can we expect K-State, given their regular season, to also be in Des Moines? A good chance of that.
A little bit I know, top 4 seeds, try to keep them regionally close, so I think there would probably be a good chance of that happening. So we could have, all the Jayhawk fans cheering for the Wildcats and vice versa. I'm sure that would take place.
So you mentioned like getting back here in a couple weeks, right? The regionals here. Do you feel like you can enhance your position here or hurt your position, or do you feel like whatever's going to happen?
I don't think it's quite to that point. I think we can help or hurt. I do. Our resume, regardless of how people view it, is pretty impressive. When you talk about, now we've had more opportunities to play quad 1 games, but I talked to a coach today and he said, can you believe 21 of your 30 games have been against quad 1 teams? There's nobody else out there like that. Now, other teams in our league have played a bunch. K-State, obviously everybody in our league's played, 16, 17, 18 games of quad 1 games. But we've got a pretty good record against them, and so I think that in itself is impressive for a committee. But I don't know that in itself is enough to lay claim that we should be in Kansas City. So I still think there's work to do.
The last couple home games were pretty close, and of course Texas was, it's something you'd like to forget. How do you feel about the form of your team? If you will?
I actually don't think we played as well of late, but because games are close at home doesn't mean we play poorly. It means that the league's pretty good and all the games are hard. But I think we need to get on an uptick. I do, going into the tournament, and I'm glad that we're actually playing before next week to give us an opportunity to do that.
Does it feel like this came quick? This tournament, this season did go quick because of how far you took last year?
Yeah, when we lost 3 in a row, I thought this season was just flying, just flying by.
you know, I'm saying here you are back here, money time again, so to speak.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but I don't know that it feels like every year to me it seems like the season flies by, and the older we get, it seems like kind of even passes faster. This is one of those years, but I don't think it's a lot different than how I felt in other years though.
Bill, this time of year, I'm sure you're going to get asked pretty frequently how this team compares to a team that won it all last year. I'm just wondering, in your head, do you do that all the time? Or
No, I don't.
ever?
I haven't compared at all. I really don't think it's fair to the guys to compare. It's different guys, different group, different skill sets, different strengths, different weaknesses. I will say this: last year's team did not play well until we got to Kansas City. The point you said earlier, barely beat TCU at home, barely lucky to beat Texas at home, and then came here and then kind of relaxed and played. I'm hoping for something the same, kind of to your point. But last year's team had a lottery pick and another guy that's drafted 21 and a guy that you could throw it to and get a basket, David McCormick. Which you don't even talk about David. He was a great player for us, best player in the Final Four. So I don't know that I would put our team playing as well as last year's team, but I do think this team has intangibles that last year's team had that could potentially allow them to play that.
What do you classify as the intangibles?
Toughness, like each other, competitiveness, love it at game point, things like that I thought last year's team had too.
DeJuan said that this team's a lot goofier. Would you agree with him? He said that Grady Dick's probably the goofiest guy in the locker room.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time in the locker room with the guys, but
So you stay out of that.
I would actually agree. To me, CB brought the personality last year,
Okay.
but he did it in a totally different way. Grady kind of brings the personality from a goofy way, but he's totally comfortable in his own skin, and I do love that about him.
Then I want to ask about the women's team as well. They're going to the tournament. They're doing really good as well. And some people say that whenever you think of Kansas and a good basketball team, you always think of you as the head coach of the men's team. But can you talk maybe about your counterpart and how well they've been doing?
Yeah, Brandon and his staff done a great job. They're 9-9 in a monster league. They're I would think that they're a lock for the tournament.
Sure.
I know that they probably want to play well in Kansas City to ensure that, but they've done a great job. Our women's program has a chance to take off in my mind because they should return all 5 starters
Right.
that are playing now, and if that's the case, they'll be one of the favorites to win the league next year.